Very good morning to you all, and it's my pleasure to be here as an international faculty. And I thank AIOS and especially Dr. Partha Bishwas, Dr. Mohipa Sazdev, Dr. Namrata Sharma, and all members of AIOS. So I'll be speaking on retinoblastoma management in Bangladesh, my journey. So this is a boy, Sami. He was blind of two eyes of retinoblastoma, and most of the cases in the beginning we were getting were like this. And if we speak about the Bangladesh scenario, most of our patients comes from rural settings. It is almost 54%. This is my first 100 patients survey. And boys were coming more, maybe because those were the priority. And mean age of presentation was 32 months, oldest presented at 11 years, youngest at 4 months. 5 children had family history, and 2 children had history of consequences, just marriage between parents. And bilateral cases were 45% and unilateral 55%. These were the presentations. White people reflex were the most of the present children presented with white people reflex. Then proptosis, thysis bulbis, strabismus, poor vision, hyphema, vitreous hemorrhage, endophthalmitis, red pupil, painful eye. These are the pictures of our patients. In all our patients, we do CT scan and B scan ultrasonography for documentation and for counseling purpose. It is very much important, and also for planning of treatment. And we follow the international classification of retinoblastoma, Shields classification, and international staging system for retinoblastoma for our patients. And our 70% of our patients were of group E, and 12% of group B and D, and 3% each of group A and C. And stage 0 or intraocular tumors were 43%, 35% had enucleation without microinvasion, and stage 1, stage 2 had 13%, and who had adjuvant chemo and other modalities of treatment. Stage 3 had 8%, and 1% had stage 4. So in 2014, when I came back from Center for Sight after doing my ocular oncology fellowship under Dr. Santosh Hunavar, I found that there is no infrastructure of RB treatment in Bangladesh. And it was also the cause why I went to Center for Sight. So in 2014, we were getting referral cases. What we did examination anesthesia grouping done. Then we referred those cases who needed chemotherapy to National Oncology Department of National Cancer Institute. And we did enucleation with patients like I have shown you earlier, those. But the challenges was follow-up. So at that time, our common method of managing advanced retinoblastoma was enucleation. We did enucleation with orbital implant. No enucleation was done without implant, and we did it by my conjunctival technique. This is a small video of my surgery we were doing in for enucleation. It is a myconjunctival technique. We are here. I'm tying the rectus muscle. A very small video, and then after tying the 4 rectus muscle and disinserting them, this is prolapse of the eyeball, and then optic nerve is cut and eyeball is removed. Eyeball is checked for the almost 20 millimeter of optic nerve is cut, and now orbital implant is given, and then we close by in layers. So this is after enucleation. We give prosthesis for the patients for functional, and so that they can go back to the school and others and mix with the normal children. So in 2015, our challenge was referred patients were not coming back for follow-up. And those who were reporting had incomplete chemotherapy, or either they don't understand about the importance of follow-up or importance of chemotherapy. So we decided to start chemotherapy at NIO and to keep all the children with us, so that nobody could be lost. So it is in 2015, this is my first case where I gave chemotherapy. Only one patient or two patients we were giving chemotherapy at that time. And now this is the intravenous chemotherapy, and we have almost 40 patients in a week and 150 to 160 patients in a month. We are giving intravenous chemotherapy from 1 to 150 in a month now. So at that time, we started giving other immune chemotherapy modalities like periocular chemotherapy. We started in carboplatin in 2015 and topotecan in 2016 because topotecan was not available at that time in 2015. So intravitreal chemotherapy, we don't give melphalan, we give topotecan, and if we started in 2016, but melphalan we don't give because it has many complications. So this is the case of group D RB. After intravenous chemotherapy, the tumor was gone, but there was vitreous seed, and we treated with intravitreal chemotherapy, and you can see the regress and stage. And this is a group BRB, and after chemotherapy, it was like this. The cases were like this, and it is a group CRB, which had after chemotherapy, intravitreal and intravenous, it is regressed with calcification. So we were happy, but in 2016, we thought of comprehensive center for retinoblastoma. So, but it was not easy. At that time, we had treatment options like cryotherapy, laser photocoagulation, but we have to depend on the retina department for laser photocoagulation. And we were doing nucleation and orbital implantation and chemotherapy in different routes. So in 2016, it was very difficult task. It was not a priority for the policymakers. They had other priorities like vitreoretina and cataract. They wanted to buy phaco machines and high-end microscopes and other VR machines, but they were not. It was very difficult to understand, make them understand. So negotiation was crucial. We had meeting after meeting, and then finally we could make them understand. And they recognized us as a separate department of ocular oncology and retinoblastoma management team. So we have a dedicated OT day, we had a dedicated admission day, we have dedicated chemotherapy day. And eventually dropout reduced to minimum in 2017. We were very happy. So things were going very nice. And in 2019, a big year, we had a procurement of TTT. We got TTT, the government ensured supply of chemotherapy agent, vincristine, etoposide, carboplatin, and topotecan. And the patient don't have to pay, and they will get when the supply was there. A new era started in the treatment of retinoblastoma in Bangladesh. So this is the first day of TTT at my center. So after TTT, we got the TTT. This is the regress. Things are going better, and patients were happy. We were happy. So our dream, we have dream BRACTCAM, plaque brachytherapy, intraarterial chemotherapy, and research in genetics in RB in Bangladesh. So we have started intraarterial chemotherapy in January 2021. One patient we did intraarterial chemotherapy and our dream is coming true. So this is the first case where we did the intraarterial chemotherapy with our cardiac interventional cardiologist and interventional radiologist and our team. So brachytherapy is on the way now. We are happy that we have made in India plaque brachytherapy, which is less expensive, and we will be procuring that. And research in genetics of RB in Bangladesh, we have started a small study on genetic study. Let's see how it comes out. And rehabilitation, we have networking with blind schools. So that's who have bilateral visual loss or enucleation. They can go to the blind school for rehabilitation and vocational training. And so in conclusion, I want to say, nothing is impossible. We started from zero, and we have to have a big dream, need to work step by step to fulfill the dream. Not one day we will get everything. And dream big. I will tell the youngsters that dream big, but start small, and gradually you will achieve it. Now in Bangladesh, we can manage be more confidently. We have this center. I can be proud of it. It is a comprehensive center for retinoblastoma management, and this child, she came for, this is my first child who I gave adjuvant chemo. I have shown the picture. She was enucleated elsewhere without implantation, and I don't go for, I gave adjuvant chemo, then I did secondary orbital implant. Now she is like this, and she can be in the mainstream, and like any other child, my child and your child, she can enjoy her life with full accomplishment. And thank you for your nice presentation, your presence. And this is with my mentor, and this is with my team. Thank you. Thank you for your patience hearing.